content. Let's now speak to Albie Amankona, who's a political commentator, for his take on all of this. You know, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether people support them or whether they don't, my goodness me, we can't travel anywhere. We can't go through airports. The trains are disrupted. Now the roads are disrupted as well. Goodness me, what do you make of all of this, Albie?
I think it just adds to the general feeling in the country at the moment that things seem to slightly be falling apart and people seem to be resorting to direct action to try and get the government to listen. Whether or not it's Mick Lynch of the RMT who was leading the picket fences a couple of weeks ago, whether or not it's these protesters who are protesting because they want fuel duty and VAT to be cut on fuel because the cost of living crisis is biting, it just adds to a general feeling that things are getting worse, not better.
Well, it was interesting during the paper review just then, the subject of the police and crime bill came up and the argument was made that you can't cherry pick when you use these strong new powers. I mean, a lot of people were unsure, even from within the Conservatives, about whether this was bordering on authoritarian. People seemed happy enough to use it when they didn't agree with the cause. But there's a lot of public sympathy for the protests yesterday. And suddenly people are thinking, hang on a minute, I don't want to spend 6 months in jail for just complaining that the government haven't cut fuel duty. So could this raise questions then about Priti Patel's new police crime bill?
There were already questions about the police and crime bill, mostly from the libertarian right of the party. So you had people like Steve Baker who were very vocal about not liking this policy, because it does feel quite authoritarian, and there are many Conservatives who are of that view, because ultimately it does open a bit of a Pandora's box when this policy, when people say, well, I don't like it for this thing which I agree with, but I like it for this thing which I disagree with, and that is where there are sticky spots with authoritarian policies like these.
Now, Albie is a Conservative, and I want to talk to you now about this poll about a possible future leader. 700 Conservatives polled on this, and the results are that Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary, was the most favourite candidate in terms of who should succeed Boris Johnson, if that is necessary, followed by Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss. Can you run through the runners and riders there for us?
Absolutely. Well, the only candidate that actually beat all of them was Don't Know. So I think that's actually the really core, interesting part, is that whilst, you know, the names that are up there, Penny Mordaunt, Ben Wallace, Liz Truss, all very popular within the Conservative Party, actually, there's no consensus around one of the figures, which, if there was, that would really put the Prime Minister in danger.
Although there seems to be quite a lot of consensus about who they don't want, and that appears to be Jeremy Hunt. It says Boris-bashing Hunt would lose leadership to every one of his rivals, according to that Tory members' poll.
Precisely. I mean, I think one thing that Conservatives really don't like is disloyalty, which is why if you continue to look at the polls for support of the Prime Minister within the Conservative Party, you'll actually see them really mostly above 50%. And Jeremy Hunt has sort of been seen as consistently a thorn in the Prime Minister's side. He's been on manoeuvres, been on many morning shows talking about how he would have done things differently during the pandemic. And I suppose this poll from Conservative Home shows that he's actually not perhaps the leadership contender that we need in the Conservative Party.
OK. Albie, thank you very much indeed. Albie Amankona there. Thank you.